Hello and good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, depends on when you guys are listening to this. If you are watching this on YouTube, do not be alarmed by my white in my hair. I'm just letting my dry shampoo soak in and do its thing. We actually have an event tomorrow, a event that we are the faces of, I guess. There's a few other people that are the faces of, but it's Happy Hour Club Moncton, and it's a networking, connecting, female entrepreneur type event thing. And I'm super excited. Anyway, why am I telling you about this? Is because my hair was at that point where it could be washed or it could not be washed. And my hair always stays better when it's not freshly cleaned. So I had to go the dry shampoo route for tomorrow. You guys get me. You get me. You know that when there's an event, you need to think about when you are or are not washing your hair. Okay, so hi everyone. Today I am going to talk about a larabar. So yesterday I was going about my life. I was hungry. I opened up a larabar. I thought, wow, that is delicious. And then I started to think about when I wouldn't eat a larabar. So for those of you that don't know, a larabar is like it's not really a granola bar. It's not a protein bar. It's a bar. It's food smushed into a rectangular shape. Okay, you know how we don't like labeling. And basically, the Larabar brand is that they are made from just a few ingredients. So, 4 or 5 ingredients. It's usually like dates, cocoa, nuts, shredded coconut, chocolate chips, very minimal ingredients. So, I used to never eat Larabars before at one point in my journey. So, I've been at this. It was 2016 when I decided to make a change in my life, and I lost 50 pounds that year. And the next year, I lost 20. And, a lot of my thoughts at that point were still very much diet culture. I was still putting my values aside in order to lose weight. Now, it's all going to come together here. Why are we talking about values and weight loss and Larabars? It's coming. It's coming, I promise. So basically, what I used to do is eat a protein bar. And I was like on this quest to find the perfect protein bar. And it never felt right. It was like, why am I consuming this highly processed food item that is 200 and something calories, but just happens to have 20 grams of protein? Like, is this really the answer to my weight loss? Ironically, I'm the same weight that I am now as I was back then when I was eating protein bars and not Larabars. Now, why would I have not eaten the Larabar? I was afraid of the sugar. And have spoken about this before, but this for sure, one of we always talk about when you arrive at your weight loss, basically you're ready to unpack your book bag, your diet mentality book bag, and all your thoughts and your language are in that book bag. And some of us have a heavier book bag than others. Some of us, what's in the book bag is bigger, like the actual pieces are bigger. So a large piece of what was in my diet mentality book bag was the remnants of keto and Atkins. Both diets I had done for a significant length of time while I was in university. So those diet thoughts, diet language were deep rooted for me, diet habits, even. So those were deep rooted for me. So basically, picture a suitcase, a backpack. You arrive at your weight loss, and before we can put things back in your book bag, we need to take everything out and we need to unpack all of those thoughts that you used to have, all of those rules that you used to have. And then we put it back and then we basically create it with your values, your way, while reminding you that thinness is not going to equate to happiness. But that's a whole nother conversation. So, a large piece of what was in my diet mentality book bag was keto and Atkins. And I still, to this day, have moments where I'm like, I don't eat that. And then I think to myself, literally, I had this moment yesterday. Why don't I eat wraps? Because someone said that I was looking for a quick, easy dinner idea. And they said wraps. I thought, why don't I eat wraps? Do you know why I don't eat wraps? Because I always thought they were bad. So many carbs. During the Tim Hortons month, I obviously ate a lot of wraps, and I'm like, okay, Alicia, we're busting that wrap myth because you've lost 7 pounds this month and you're eating a lot of wraps. So, long story short, I have a lot of baggage when it comes to carbs and sugar. And I used to look at the 20 grams of sugar in that Larabar, which I know is a lot of sugar, and think, I can't eat that. Now, if you have a medical condition that requires you to track your sugar, then absolutely this is a different conversation. But I do not. I simply feared sugar because I thought I was going to gain weight if I ate too much sugar. So instead, I was eating this protein bar that was not as satisfying. Like I took a bite of the Lara bar and I was like, this is delicious. And I I would take a bite of the protein bar and be like, I was just faking it to myself. I was ignoring my values to prioritize weight loss. And that is diet mentality. Diet mentality is when you prioritize thinness, weight loss over everything, over most things. You're not going out with your friends because you want to lose weight. You're not eating your favorite food because you want to lose weight, instead of figuring out a way to coexist your life and your goals. So I was eating these gross protein bars that actually hurt my stomach because I have like I don't know if it was the protein, the whey protein powder in it or the sugar alcohol, but they hurt my stomach. So fast forward to me as a grown up now and making my choices that align with my values. A Larabar aligns with Alicia's values. So do midday squares. So do the leafy gain protein cookies that I consume. All of those things align with my values. So, what are my values? Actually, let me just list before I get into my values. Maybe I should just go for it and not organize my thoughts. Okay. Values. We all have values. We have values with our families. We have values with the cleanliness of our homes. We have values at work. We have values with our friends, with our family. We also have values surrounding how we eat. And how we eat is a big part of who we are, a big part of our identity. Again, when we were doing the Tim Hortons challenge, I saw a large amount of people, especially women, when we asked them, would you eat a donut a day? Almost think, what should I say? I know that I know that society associates donuts as bad. And if someone says I would eat a donut a day, does that mean they're bad because they would eat bad food every day? So a big part of our identity is attached with what we eat. And sometimes we are ignoring our actual values to just try to conform to what we think we should do, what we should say. Well, if you guys have been listening to us or following us long enough, you know that we are not shoulders. We do not should at your weight loss. So, what are some food values? And as I'm listening, you guys can think that's my value. So minimally processed. That one is huge for me. That one is important to me. A Larabar, although comes in a package, is minimally processed. I mean, processing is very much a scale, and it's more on the process scale than the not processed scale because the fruit is dried or whatever. But compared to other bars, other rectangular things in a package, it is minimally processed. This is important to me. How do I know this is important to me? When I eat a meal that is minimally processed, I value how I feel. I value how it tastes. When I feed my family minimally processed food, I genuinely feel happy. Not because I think I should. And guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, I actually don't care, give me all the processed food, I support you. Your weight loss is the place that supports every single food value. I am not going to tell you what you should or should not do. I might explain to you why I value minimally processed food, but then you go into your life and you make your decision. No more shoulding, guys. So some people value easy, simple, and convenient food. I don't always value this. This is not one of my strong values that is always present. I find I turn to this in the summer. I turn to this when we're busy. I turn to this when I'm overwhelmed. I don't cook as much when we are busy, so I tend to go easy, simple, convenient. Inexpensive. For some people, they value getting inexpensive food. Going to be totally honest, and I do recognize that I'm coming from a place of privilege. I do not prioritize inexpensive foods. When we were in a different place financially, I absolutely did. When the twins were one, Alfie was three, they were all in full time daycare. I think my daycare bill every single month was $2,400. Do you need me to say that again? My monthly daycare bill was $2,400. And at that point, absolutely, I would go to Sobeys and Superstore and Giant Tiger, and I would go to 5 different places and try and eat as inexpensively as possible. I don't choose to do that anymore, but you might, and that's okay. Okay, nutrient dense. I know minimally processed nutrient dense, kind of the same thing, but kind of not. So I do feel strongly about having nutrient dense food. It's important to me. I know that it's going to help regulate my hormones. I know that it's going to help me fight disease. I know that it's going to help my skin look good, my hair, my nails, all of that stuff. It is important to me. Eating the same as my family. That is a value. And that's like a hot topic one. That's one that involves some mom guilt. Guys, if you do not value it, if you are just doing it because you think you should, if you do it and every single night you sit with the family and it's miserable and you're forcing them to eat what you're eating and it's just causing so much conflict, don't do it. It's important to me, and I've been doing it since the kids were really little. So it works for me in my family. Homemade. Do you value homemade? Do you value volume? So having a lot of food for X amount of calories versus some people don't need volume to be happy. Some people would prefer to value other things over volume. Some people would maybe prefer to have less flavorful food, but more of it. Macro focused. Maybe you value counting your protein. If you value or eating high protein, maybe you don't count it, but you just high protein. That's amazing. Go for it. I just don't ever want people, we just don't ever want people to value or to, really put protein on a pedestal because they think that's what they need to do to lose weight. Again, figure out what protein does for your body, how you feel when you consume it, and then you decide if you value it. The only thing that is needed for weight loss is to create a calorie deficit. And if you try to create a calorie deficit in a way that does not align with your values, you will not be consistent with it. Okay, the last thing is flavor. So some people really value flavor. And often flavor comes with fat. So it's almost like something else has to give a little bit. So maybe you value flavor, but you're good to go lower volume. Variety. Some people really value variety. They want lots of different options. That is okay. Sometimes people say, "Oh my gosh, I could never eat the same thing over and over." I have been eating avocado toast for my first meal of the day every day for a very long time, and I will continue to do that for a very long time. All right, so those are basically a list of common food values. What I really want for you guys to do within that is identify which food values are strong for you. And while you're going through your day today, I would love for you to ask yourself, does this meal align with my food values? Because if I would have asked myself that 5 years ago while I was eating that disgusting protein bar, if I was honest with myself, I would have said no. Not only did it not align with my food values, it actually was affecting my digestion as well. But I kept trucking, kept trying to find the perfect one. And now I just rely on those minimally processed, nutrient dense options. Ignoring your food values for the intention of weight loss is just not going to get you where you want to be. The perfect example of this is the Flippin' Quest peanut butter cups I saw at Costco. And I'm almost like mad. I'm mad at Quest. Is that what they're called? I'm mad at that brand. I'm mad at the marketing. People are buying that. Think spending $5 on 2 peanut butter cups, thinking that there's some magic in their peanut butter cups. when they could just eat the actual original version for less money and probably the same calories. So just know that any of these special food items, there's no magic in any food item unless it's magical to you. Cheesy, I know. Avocado toast, magical to me. So there's no magic in any food item unless you find it so delicious. It easily fits in your lifestyle, your environment. So my avocado toast, because I work from home, easy for me to make. You guys that are at work, working shift work, probably not going to be the easiest thing for you to make in your staff room because you have to take time to do it. So it fits for me. I love the way it tastes. I love the way I feel when I consume it. It aligns with my goals and it aligns with my values. Boom. That's what makes that magical food for me. So instead of looking at what society is deeming as magical food, I want you guys to start thinking about what's your magic food. What is food that you love, that aligns with your goals, that aligns with your values, that can coexist with your resources like money, time, and works in your environment and your schedule? That is magic. So for me, a larabar, avocado toast, a tahini maple kale power bowl, those things align with my values. They are my magic food. So I want you guys to go and find your magic food. Okay, I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, like and review and give it stars and share with friends. If you could share this, if every single person that listened shared the link to our podcast with someone else and just said, hey, I love to listen to this podcast, you might too, that would be incredible for us. We would appreciate that so much. Bye, guys. Have an amazing weekend.